So you were telling me about Christopher Portal.
Yeah, Christopher Portal.
He was a history professor
I
at
don't know whether I was
Manchester
the
Grammar.
only one, but there were just a couple of us at best who went along with him.
Did he handpick you from the Manchester Grammar School, or he just
No.
asked for volunteers?
Christopher Portal was a teacher at Manchester Grammar School, and he just opened this invitation.
Okay.
And
why were you interested? That's interesting. You just.
I was interested. Went and good contact with the past and with archaeology. It was in Yorkshire, and I went. I think a couple of times. Went there. It was summer work, not paid, of course. It was just.
But good experience.
Good experience. And I think on the strength of that, though, I got invited to accompany not Christopher Portal, but Professor Maurice Beresford was in charge of the dig. He and one other person, John Hurst.
Now, is this Maurice Beresford there?
That is Maurice Beresford. That's in France.
Okay.
Because he invited me to join him and a graduate student to go to France for 3 weeks. To collecting documentation on new towns of the Middle Ages, which has since been published. And he had written before that what was referred to by those of us who were on the dig as the Bible, which was the deserted villages of medieval England, which I have a copy of both those books.
Right. Right, there's just 3 right here, and I thought we'd talk about it since I had the photos right here.
And so we went there, and he was personally visiting every single city for which town, village often, for which we had documentation
in France.
In France. Just for the sake of completeness. So it's an exhaustive study. Within reason. Right. So that was in the southwest of France, near Bordeaux, on the prime wine areas of France, in fact.
Now that was in. Now when was that? When you were already at Cambridge, or?
I was already at Cambridge then. Don't ask me what year it was, whether it's 50, 58, 59 or something like that.
And now would that have been before or after you hitchhiked around with Aunt Gillian?
Can't remember.
Did you go once?
Did hitch around in France and elsewhere. Switzerland, I think. I also hitched with Tom Warnes, whom I still exchange Christmas cards. He became a doctor, internist, surgeon.
And you knew him from Manchester Grammar, right?
No. I knew him for Church Connection. Oh, okay. He didn't go to Manchester Grammar, he went to another rifle school. Did you say about hitchhiking that you wore a Union Jack on your backpack? Was that right? Yeah, because in those halcyon days, with still the memory of the Second World War, and therefore with warm, whether deserved or not, warm feelings of the French for the English, it was an advantage. You were likely to pick up a ride. It wasn't universally true. I can clearly remember hitchhiking in France, central France, and standing by the main road, and seeing a truck containing workers, presumably on their way to work, and they started mocking us. That was the only occasion when that ever happened.
Interesting. And was it easier as a male and female to get rides than 2 males?
Yeah. And in fact, I remember clearly one occasion hitchhiking with Gillian down in the right in the south of France, near Avignon, sur le pont d'Avignon. Anyway, there's rules of the road. The first person to get to a certain spot, they were the head of the road. So then when they got, then the next person took their place.
So you often had more than one hitchhiker.
That didn't happen often, but it happened occasionally. And on this occasion, we were somewhere near the back of the line, and this small car stopped. And was it a small car? Or I forget. I think it was a Peugeot. And the head of the line went forward expectantly.
Right.
But he was waved away, and the driver pointed to and to Gillian and me because she was female.
Right.
We found out because after we'd been driving along, and Gillian indicated to me that the driver was beginning to feel her up.
Oh.
And so I told him, this is where we want to get off.
We're getting out here. Oh, wow. That's quite adventuresome. I don't know if people hitchhike anymore.
It's much more dangerous nowadays. It was not without its risks then. So.
Right. Let's see. I wanted to. Here's some photos. What's this? Oh. This is very funny. Made by one of your children, I assume. It says Jackson Jeremy Charles, wanted by all European countries, Canada and by United States, escaped from insane home, wanted for laughing, giggling, cracking, dumb jokes, and fooling around. I'm not sure who made that for you.
This is one that's just to do with the time with Beresford in France.
It says summer 1958.
Yeah, so that was
Sans Posture.
58. That was the summer we spent 3 weeks
rather idyllic.
Documenting these particular. This was one of the Bastides.
Bastides meaning?
Bastide was a name given to those particular urban settlements, a planted community.
So there's, I think, so there's an envelope of these somewhere, which would give us more information on that. Oh, who's this? There's, it says on the back, Sarah Ann Brumby, née Bishop. So she is Charles Brumby's wife, right? No, yes. Isn't that right?
Sarah Ann Brumby, née Bishop, yeah.
Right. For after whom this Lydia has her middle name, Lydia Bishop.
Yeah, yeah.
So she was named after Sarah Ann Bishop. Now, wasn't she the servant girl who?
No.
The daughter of the servant girl?
No.
That's a different.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a very nice photograph. But she was married to your Charles Brumley. Would have been your. Anyway, we'll have to look it up because I can't remember.
I need to have my genealogical chart
right in front of us.
Straighten the relations out.
And this is a picture of your father as a butcher's apprentice.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
With the dog.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's quite. And so that would have been, let's see, in the 1920s.
Probably 1920 or so.
Yeah. Wow. It's a great photo. And these we've seen some of these before already. Here we've got a picture of.
Oh yes.
It says Tulacre Methodist Mission.
Yeah. That's, I forget the name or nickname we had for her, but she was quite a bouncer.
What does that mean, a bouncer?
Fat. And I think that they were opening something, I mean, I forget whether they renovated or what.
So now that was where you
that would be in
vacationed.
Talaka.
So you would go to the service there.
Yeah.
It's a whimsical photo. Now I wonder why you ended up with this photo, because there's no one in your family in it. Right? Interesting. We've seen a couple of these before already, and now, and this is you on. You said you called it Degree Day.
Oh, Cambridge, yes, that was when I got my degree. My parents uniquely came to.
Was
to
that
see
their
me.
first time? I think you said they didn't bring you. I mean, the first time you went down to Cambridge, they didn't transport you there.
No, I just hitchhiked.
You hitchhiked?
Yeah.
The first day of.
I think most times, I can't remember whether it was also the first time, but on most occasions, going back to college or coming from college, I would hitchhike.
Wow.
Save money.
Huh. That's impressive.
And that was in front of the Senate House, I think. My father and mother and me.
They very proud, I presume.
Yeah.
It says June 1960. They look very happy and pleased. Were there? How did the degree day go? Was it?
I think it was difficult for my parents because on the one, my father in particular, he was on the one hand proud of me, but on the other hand feeling very inferior and awkward in this great centre of learning and so on, and so many famous people and associations.
Right. Well, and I know you had said that he was actually had self-taught himself quite a bit. He was always a very intelligent man, but because he was forced to become apprentice butcher, he never had a chance to utilize that.
Right. So he was very intent upon his own children going as far as they could educationally.
And which you all did. And I think you said he was disappointed that Uncle John became a...
Yeah, the famous or infamous 11 plus exam, which the results of which determined whether you were going to go to a grammar school, or whether you're going to a technical school, or whether you're going to the dreaded secondary modern school. All these categories change with educational change.
Right.
Yes, so John was the only one to quote unquote fail the 11 plus, which meant that actually didn't mean he went to did it? A secondary modern. I think he did well enough to go to the technical school.
Is that where he learned his cooking?
Yeah, I think that's when he started that sort of train.
And then became a caterer eventually.
Yeah. Right. And ironically, having got into got into a very, very good catering school, which is at Blackpool. He flunked because he failed a science subject that they also taught, which was very, very disappointing. My mother had worked hard to get him into, to encourage him. But he went. He then went full time in actually a cancer hospital in Manchester, which is very close to our backyard. Christie's Cancer, and did night school. Worked night school to get to attain the level necessary for going to college. And in process of time, he became a teacher at the college out of which he had flunked.
In Blackpool.
Pardon?
The one in
In
Blackpool?
Blackpool, yeah.
Ah.
Right.
So they lived in Blackpool?
No, they didn't. He commuted.
Okay.
Not every day. He
Right.
had a landlady in
Ah,
Blackpool.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh, he had.
So he succeeded.
He always had a very close relationship to my mother, because really she made the difference. I think my father had was very disappointed, and that John had failed the 11 plus relative to the conclusion of it. But then he'd hoped that John would join him in his paint business, which John was not about to do. He was wise. They would never
Gotten on.
right. But yeah. Anyway.
So did he live to see your brother attain professional success in, at Blackpool?
Oh yeah.
So
Yes, he did.
so that was good that he saw that he had taken a path that was actually made something of him, not just what his fear maybe that he would be disappointment. Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, why don't we, since it's 12:30 and you probably would like to have a bite to eat, I imagine, we can do more on Thursday. If that's okay with you? Huh?
Yeah.
And there's more to be looked at, more to be enjoyed. Thanks, Dad.